Now that your item is out for sale, you must make that item usable in our game. So let's try making the logics and everything right here to make the players buy as much as they want. So there are a few steps to follow. First, I'm going to click this UI button and add a button to buy the potion. Here, I'll place it right there. And heart. You can change the color right here. Font size to 30. Move this. And I'm going to group this to our button and rename it as heart. And rename this text heart, just to make it less confusing. And afterwards, you have to add a component to this button. So you can add the component right away in this property tab. Click add component, new component here. I'm going to name it heart by component. Okay, so here you'll find the script on our workspace. This component will make the purchase prompt appear whenever we click this button here. We're going to put that logic in this event entity handler. We're going to use this button click event because whenever we click this logic here should be executed. Remember, when you want to use the built-in services in MSW, you need this underbar. So type world shop service, and we're going to use this prompt purchase method, which you need a product ID in these parentheses. So as a parameter, you need to put them in. So go to panels and click world shop viewer. And here you'll find the item we've just registered before in our website. So right click and copy item ID. Between these quotation marks, put in the string. After doing this, let's try playing. And try clicking on the button. So if you click, this purchase prompt pops up and choose yes, this means free. Click this, and now it says you've bought them. But then if we look at our console, it has an error. It says the request has failed because there's no callback right now. So now let's move on to make the callback. So you need this callback function to actually process the purchase in the server. We're going to create a new logic and name it shop logic. Double click. And right here, we're going to add a on begin play function and type in the world shop service again. And this time, we are going to use the set process purchase callback. And to use this callback, you need a boolean here. So something true or something false has to be inserted. So let's create a new boolean. New boolean. And name this process purchase. And you'll need to add a parameter. Change this to any and say purchase info. Okay, right here, we'll have to make some logic to return whether true or false. Let's say if the purchase information, which is the product ID, equals to the item ID that we just copied, then we're going to print out log purchase success, just to check if this logic is working. And don't forget to return true. But if the product ID is not the ID that we copied, we have to return false. right here, we'll add this function that we've made. So don't forget this magic keyword, self.process purchase. Okay, so right now, we're done for the logics. But we'll also need to create another component for our default player. So when the player buys a new heart, it has to be added in their server and in their UI, right? So we're going to do that. Let's add a new component to our default player. New component, and name this player reward component. You can find it right there. And let's first make a new variable called heart. So the default heart number is 0. And we need a new function as well. Let's name this get potion. So when we press the button and buy the item, your potion here, self heart. I'm just mixing up the word potion and heart, but it doesn't really matter. Okay? Self.heart will increase by 1. Okay? After making this component, let's make the UI. Okay, so right here, I'm going to add an item slot. Just place it here. And we only need 1, so I'm going to delete the rest. Okay. And I'm going to change this image into the heart image. Oh, so remember the icon we made for the item thumbnail? You can find it right here in this World Shop viewer. This time we're going to copy the thumbnail RUID and insert it in this image RUID of the slot. Enter. You see, here you got this heart. Okay, I'm going to okay, and we'll also add a text here to show how many hearts you have. Default to 0. I'm going to make this font size very big, change it to red, and move this to our slot. Okay, so now whenever we buy a new heart, we'll get this number increased by 1. So let's keep going. This time, let's go back to our player reward component and add some more logics. So now that we've added this heart count entity, the text entity, we'll also have to add them in our property section. It's an entity, so let's change it to entity. And for this, we won't sync it. It's only the player who should see this number, so I'll just leave it like that. And name this heart count. Remember that our text was under this slot. So find the slot and click this. So this is our UI text 1. Is what we have to link to. Anyway, once you're done with adding the properties, you need one more line here using this magic keyword self.heartCount. If you look at this property here, we're going to change this text component in the text here, right? So we have to find the text component of the heart count and the text right here. And then update this to the number of self-heart. Oh, and you have this red line because this has to be a string. So we're going to use this toString method to change our self.heart into a string. Okay. And after you're done with this, don't forget to add in our shop logic as well. Right here, we're going to add this entity, local user entity. Use this user service to get the user's entity by user ID to see the purchase info, which is the user ID. Now, you don't need the log anymore, but I'll just leave it. And bring this user entity, because now that we're done with this component, we have to add this component to our shop logic to use it. So type player viewer component, and we'll call this function right here. So this time you need a colon and the parentheses. Okay. Now let's try playing. Oh, and before that, for this shop logic, we'll run them in server or server only. But for the viewer component, you only need to see it on your own page. So these are all, this will be running in client or client only. Don't forget to do that. And let's play. Here, buy an heart. Yes. See, now you get this heart. Add it by 1. If you buy one more, it changed to 2. And see, you get the log, purchase success. But if you don't want this 2.1, so the decimal points at the back, you can use math.floor here. So this was an explanation on how to make a heart component and use the item in our game.